Okay, we are going to call this meeting to order. This is the City of Buckeye regular council meeting for December 17th, 2024. And we will start with the invocation led by Don Cheatham, Forever in His Service Ministry, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilmember Tony Yonker.
Thank you for giving me the honor to come and pray with you tonight. Join with me in prayer, if you would please. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for your grace and your mercy that you pour out upon us. Thank you especially for the freedom we have to worship, honor, and embrace you. Jesus, I thank you for the city leaders that you have placed in their positions to fulfill their roles and to make decisions according to your plan and purposes for not just the city, but most importantly for the people that live here. Father, your word tells us that as citizens, we should pray for the governmental authorities that are placed over us. So, Father, as I usually do, I ask, Holy Spirit, that you inhabit the mayor and this newly elected council and bless each of them as they willingly serve this community. I believe that this council will make decisions that will positively influence the future of Buckeye for many years to come. I ask great blessings to be poured out upon them, their businesses, their families, for their faithfulness to serve you. I ask, God, that you bless each level of city officials represented here tonight as they also serve in their respective positions. Lord Jesus, I ask that you give this council and the city leaders the wisdom of Solomon to govern amid the conflicting interests and growing issues, not just tonight, but in every decision that they make. Father, give them a sense of the welfare and true needs of the people of Buckeye and its surrounding communities. Place within each of them discernment and a keen thirst for justice and rightness as they serve you in their respective positions. Give them confidence in making decisions that are good and fitting for this community and its future. Lord, I ask that you grant them the ability to work together in harmony with the focus on what's best for the future of this great city. I pray that you give each of them assurance of what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work in and around our beloved city of Buckeye. I ask that you bless each person with a personal peace in their lives and in the lives of their families so that they will find joy in the tasks you have called them to do. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you both. Can we have the roll call, please?
Councilmember Yonker.
Here.
Councilmember Berry.
Here.
Councilmember Goodman.
Present.
Councilmember Hagestad.
Here.
Councilmember Beard.
Here.
Vice Mayor Hustis. Here. Mayor Orsborn.
Present. Thank you very much. Item number 2 is comments from the public. Members of the audience may comment on any non-agenda item of interest. I don't have any speaker request cards. Do we have any with you?
Speaker request.
Okay. We'll go on to item number 3, awards, presentations, and proclamations. We have none for tonight. Item number 4 is consent agenda items and new business. Approval of items on the consent agenda. All items with an asterisk are considered to be routine matters and will be enacted by one motion and vote of the City Council. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member requests. This section may include the approval of minutes from previous meetings. Council, for the consent agenda, what is your pleasure?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion. We approve consent agenda items 4A as in Adam through 4 Adam David.
I'll second.
Would you guys do that on your magic voting machines? Motion made by Councilman Hustis, seconded by Councilmember Goodman. All in favor, would you please vote on your machine and signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed? Or are we tallying?
Motion carried.
Motion carries. All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, can I interrupt you? I wasn't sure, and I wasn't clear if the clerk heard it. Did we register Councilmember Hagestad's vote on the voice vote?
Did, as an aye.
My apologies. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 6 is public hearings and non-consent and new business items. 6A, council to hold a public hearing and take action on ordinance number 27-24, amending the zoning map of the city of Buckeye for approximately .07 acres located approximately at the southeast corner of Baseline and East 3rd Avenue from special use SU to downtown residential DR. And Jarek Dunn. Jarek, this is your first time up here, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm nervous for you.
Well, don't be.
All right. Good job.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Jarek Dunn, Planner 1 with the City of Buckeye, and I will be presenting case PLZZ-24-0007, which is a rezone for 305 East Baseline Road, generally located at the southeast corner of Baseline Road and East 3rd Avenue. So a little bit of a project overview. The applicant and property owner is Brian Gerston. The site is approximately .07 acres or 3,240 square feet and is again located at the southeast corner of Baseline Road and East 3rd Avenue. The request is to change the zoning from special use to downtown residential. This would allow for development of a residential duplex. The subject property is currently vacant. The properties to the north and south consist of single-family residences. The property to the east is also vacant, and the property to the west is Refuge Church. To speak a little bit about the general plan land use designation for the subject property is activity center. Activity centers denote live, work, play areas that are vibrant mixed-use areas providing destination locations. The Downtown Buckeye Specific Area Plan, also known as the DSAP, was developed for the historic Downtown Buckeye Activity Center and refined land uses and planning concepts with the intent to create a regional destination to capitalize on the historical and cultural assets available in the area. The proposed use of that residential duplex and zoning is consistent with the vision of the DSAP. As for zoning, as stated previously, the applicant is proposing to change the zoning from special use to downtown residential. The property's existing special use district or zoning district does not permit residential development, allowing only for a range of agricultural and specialized commercial uses. The special use zoning is not compatible with the vision for development of the area as outlined in the DSAP. The downtown residential zoning district allows for development and redevelopment of properties within the downtown activity center that are not located adjacent to the area's primary main streets, including many of Buckeye's older residential neighborhoods. The district allows for a variety of residential uses, including single-family residential, duplexes, and multifamily. The proposed residential use does meet the intent of the downtown residential zoning district. And as for public participation, the first neighborhood meeting was hosted June 21st, 2024 at 12 p.m. held at Buckeye Public Library, the Coyote branch. And the second neighborhood meeting was hosted October 1st, 2024 at 6 p.m. on a Zoom meeting. All notification and public participation has been met as shown here and in the staff report. 3 residents were present for the first neighborhood meeting. 1 resident expressed concern about the feasibility of a septic system on the lot, which was addressed by the applicant, assuring the resident that he is working with a septic engineer to address any sizing issues. The other 2 residents present had no further comments. There were no members of the public present at the second neighborhood meeting. For future development and emergency services, pending building permit review for residential duplex development, and the property will receive city services with the exception of sewer, on-site septic to be provided due to the lack of city sewer in this area. The duplex will go through a design review with city oversight at the permitting review stage. So, recommendation. Mayor and council members, our request to you this evening is to conduct a public hearing and adopt ordinance ordinance number 27-24, approving PLZZ-24-0007, subject to conditions A through I, for the following reasons. It furthers goals of the Buckeye General Plan and contributes to a vibrant historic downtown Buckeye Activity Center, with residential density appropriate to an activity center. It conforms to the Buckeye Development Code and no outstanding issues from reviewing departments. With the conclusion of my presentation, the applicant has chosen not to present, but is available for questions in addition to staff.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dunn. So item 6A, we need to open a public hearing. We are in a public hearing. Do we have any speaker request cards?
There are no speaker requests.
Okay, anybody from the public wishing to speak? I'm seeing none. We will close the public hearing. And any questions or comments from council? I'm seeing none. Council 6A, what's your pleasure?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion, we approve agenda item 6A as in Adam.
I have a motion, hold on. I have a motion made by Councilman Eustis, seconded by Councilmember Yonker. All in favor, vote on your voting machine and signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? And carries unanimous. All right, Mr. Dunn. Thank you. All right, council to hold a public hearing on 6B and take action on ordinance number 30-24, declaring as a public record that certain document on file with the city clerk entitled City of Buckeye December 2024 Development Code Article 8 Update. And for this, our staff liaison is Mandy Woods.
All right. Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. My name is Mandy Woods, and I'm a senior planner with the City of Buckeye. And tonight, I'm going to be presenting this Development Code Amendment, which pertains to the administrative completeness of rezonings. And the case number is PLZM 24-0107. Some basic overview on this proposed text amendment. We are the applicant as the city, and the request is amendments to Development Code Article 8, specifically sections 8.2 and 8.5, which adds language regarding administrative completeness for rezoning applications, which is in accordance with a recent state statute change, which is ARS 9-462.10. To give some background of the request, there was a bill that passed and signed by the governor in April of this year, Senate Bill 1162, which amended state statute to add this particular section. And this new section of statute requires that municipalities adopt a text amendment that will address administrative completeness of residential rezoning applications by January 1st of 2025. And just because I know that some of you are aware, most of you perhaps, are aware of an ongoing larger development code update that the city is working with a consultant on, that is still underway, and the only reason that we kind of broke this apart from that is because of that deadline that's on the slide there. So this is kind of a housekeeping item that just based on the state mandated deadline, that's why this is going separately. And then for simplicity purposes, even though the state statute says that this applies only to residential rezoning applications, we're just going to apply this to all of our rezonings just for ease of administration. And then to kind of summarize the content of this change, for an initial rezoning application that comes to the city must determine that it is administratively complete within 30 days. For any subsequent submittals or resubmittals, the city is going to be responsible for determining that same administrative completeness within 15 days. And then there's also a new clock that's added into this, a new time frame, which pertains to approval or denial within 180 days of the initial determination of administrative completeness. And the statute allows for certain parameters of extensions, which we've added into our language as well. So the city may extend this timeframe once, not to exceed 30 days, and then the applicant can also request extensions 30 days each. And there's some exceptions to this shot clock, so to speak, which pertains to some more complex properties or projects, particularly PADs and anything that's designated in a historic manner. And just to explain kind of what administratively complete means, it doesn't necessarily mean that all of the substance of the application is 100% correct. It just means that in terms of the checklist items, everything has been provided. It doesn't necessarily mean that all accurate or agreed. As far as impact to the current process, the good news is we pretty much already do this as part of our day-to-day operations. The planning division has project coordinators that follow a very similar procedure for application completeness on all entitlement applications. So yes, we will have to modify some things and create a process to monitor that 180-day clock and then those extensions. But otherwise, we're not anticipating much procedural impact. Just gotta follow this mandate and make it part of the code itself. As far as public participation, legal notice was provided on November 9th, 2024. This was for both of the hearings that were part of this request, and no other public participation or noticing is required as part of this text amendment. And we have received no public comments on this proposed language thus far. As far as recommendation for tonight is to conduct a public hearing, and then staff would recommend adoption of ordinance number 30-24, approving PLZM 24-0107. That concludes my presentation. I'm happy to take questions.
Okay, thank you, Mandy. We will open a public hearing. And do we have any speaker request cards for 6B?
No speaker requests.
Anybody from the public wishing to speak on 6B? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. Any questions from council? I'm seeing none. I just have one. Do we know from a just a Buckeye perspective how many times we've gone over that 180-day shot clock for rezones?
I don't have a number. I don't know that we have a number of that.
Don't know that we have ever gone over the 180? Okay. I think that's what, two guys behind you there are shaking their heads yes to that.
I'll confirm it on that.
Okay, perfect.
Hello, Mayor, members of council, Adam Copeland, not principal planner, I'm a deputy director in planning. Well, I'm going back in time. I don't know. I thought she was going to butt me or something, but no, Mayor, we have not exceeded that 180-day shot clock. We actually process things, administrative completeness within a couple days.
Okay.
So we've never taken that long on an application, so I think we're in good shape.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. Item 6B, council, what is your pleasure?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion, we approve agenda item 6B as in boy.
I'll second.
I have a motion made by Councilman Hustis, second by Councilman Goodman. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And make sure you record your votes. And all against say nay, and we are unanimous on this one also. Thank you very much, Ms. Woods.
Thank you. I won't go too far.
All right, yeah, don't leave. Council to hold a public hearing on 6C and take action on ordinance number 29-24, amending the zoning map of the city of Buckeye for approximately 17.89 acres of land located approximately 1,000 feet east of the northeast corner of North Verrata Way and West Fillmore, from commercial center to multifamily 2, MF-2. And thanks for not going and sitting down. Mandy, you're up again.
Thank you. So good evening, Mayor and members of the council again. Thank you for letting me present this one as well tonight. So this one is the West Fillmore High Street Multifamily Rezone Project. The case number is PLZZ 24-0009. The applicant on this project is Katie Rounds with Cadence Group. She is present tonight. And she's here on behalf of High Street Ventures and then High Street West Fillmore 2024 Apartments. That's the developer and the new owner of the project and the parcel. The location is approximately 1,000 feet east of the northeast corner of Verado Way and Fillmore Street. And then the request tonight is to rezone from Commercial Center, or CC, which is one of our obsolete districts, to Multifamily 2, or MF2. The size of the parcel is approximately 18 acres, just under. And as you can see in the red outline, that's the subject parcel up for rezoning tonight. To the north is Summit Community Church, and until recently, they were also the owner on the property, but that has recently changed. The south is vacant land, east also vacant, west vacant, but is anticipated as the future mixed-use commercial and multifamily residential project called The Mix, which went for PAD rezoning and was approved recently as well. As far as general plan land use associated with this area, this is perhaps timely given the workshop that we had today. This is in an activity center area identified in our general plan, but specifically, this is in what we are now calling the landing, for which we are working on a specific area plan, which is going to be envisioned as an employment, educational, and entertainment hub that serves the greater West Valley region, offering diverse living opportunities. And given kind of that vision, the proposed use and the proposed zoning is very consistent with the vision of this area. And as previously stated, the existing zoning of the parcel is a commercial center, and the proposed is multifamily 2. For public participation on this rezoning request, the applicant did hold a neighborhood meeting back in late August, which was held at the Summit Community Church, so right next door, great location for this. There were no participants that showed up outside of the project team and then obviously city staff representation as well. The legal notices have been completed in compliance with all requirements. The site was posted and mailing notices went out also in accordance with code requirements, and no public comments have been received to date by staff on this. As far as future development and infrastructure, even though the focus tonight, of course, is on the rezoning, just for your information, there is a pending site plan review for this site for a 510-unit multifamily residential community. The proposed density of that is about 28.5 dwelling units per acre, and that's going through review right now and is expected to go before Planning and Zoning Commission soon. The developer, of course, will complete any required transportation, water, and sewer, and all infrastructure improvements, which will be as determined by that site plan approval. As far as school impact, the applicant has been diligently working with the affected school districts. They've sent all of the required noticing, and donation agreements between the developer and the districts are pending. For the recommendation on this case, we recommend that the council conduct a public hearing, and then we also recommend adoption of ordinance number 29-24 approving PLZZ 24-0009, subject to conditions A through J for the following reasons. First, it furthers the goals of the general plan as well as the proposed landing area. It's in conformance with the development code, consistent with the Luke Air Force, the graduated density concept, and then also the Gateway Activity Center. We have a policy that pertains to that GDC as well, that policy, and then there's no outstanding issues from reviewing departments on this rezoning. And that concludes my presentation. The applicant is here. She does have a short presentation, if that's your pleasure for her to present. I'll let you decide, I guess, what order if we decide to do that, but thank you.
Thank you. You excited about getting up and presenting? Okay, well, let's run through a quick presentation then. Wasn't going to force you to do it, but since you're happy to.
Yeah, I'm happy to.
All right.
Do you have one of these?
I don't, no. All right, well, good evening, Mayor and council members. I am Katie Rounds, and I am with the Cadence Group here this evening on behalf of High Street Ventures, who, as Mandy had mentioned, is the new property owner of this parcel just to the south of the Summit Church along Fillmore, just north of Verado Way. I would first like to thank the amazing Buckeye staff from planning to building to engineering to legal. I have very much monopolized their time, I feel like, over the last few months, and their guidance and assistance on this project has been really appreciated, so thank you. We are before you this evening, of course, to request approval for the rezone of this project from the existing CC obsolete zoning to the MF2 to allow this project to occur. Just a quick introduction. I am the only team member here this evening, but as part of our team, we, High Street Ventures, again, property owner, our architect on this project is Todd and Associates. Our civil engineering firm is Hilgart Wilson, now known as Colliers Engineering. Landscaping is also by Todd and Associates, and then traffic engineering by the Lokahi Group. Before we jump into the project details, I just wanted to take a moment to introduce the property owner and developer of this project, as they are new to the United States and new to Arizona. So High Street Ventures is a British Columbia-based real estate development company that develops and builds environmentally advanced apartment homes across British Columbia and now in Arizona. High Street's passionate about developing smarter real estate that makes a real impact by focusing on quality finishes and environmental sustainability that enables their residents to feel good about their homes. With approximately 5,200 apartment homes and condominiums developed and owned across British Columbia, High Street is a committed multifamily developer and long-term holder of all developed communities. So their intent on this one is they will continue to develop, own, operate through the life of the project. To High Street, quality finishes mean more than quartz countertops and high-end cabinetry. Quality means everything from the inside out is engineered to bring comfort, pride, and no carbon emissions. So their design and construction team focuses heavily on the design of the building envelope, from the mechanical, plumbing, and electrical systems, and site features such as solar, electrical vehicle charging, and goes above and beyond any building code green requirements. By minimizing energy consumption through this focus, all High Street communities have the potential to fully offset their energy consumption in the future as solar electricity and technology improves. Our focus on the West Fillmore development in the Buckeye community is set to be one of a first of its kind in Arizona, which is going to be a fully net zero multifamily community where all energy consumed by this project is going to be offset by the energy that it's creating. Was a bit about High Street. As Mandy had mentioned, that is our subject site there, just located at the southeast corner of Verado and Fillmore, and that undeveloped parcel shown here on this aerial photograph, about 18 net acres. To our immediate north, of course, is Summit Church, who we purchased this property from and who hosted our neighborhood meeting and was a great supporter of the project and continues to be. To our immediate west and south are both the undeveloped parcels, both planned for some mixed use and multifamily. And then to our immediate east is the Tut Hill Wash, which is part of the flood zone area. I think you're familiar now with the adjacent zonings as Mandy had previously outlined. So I'll just kind of skip through that. So just some quick project highlights. Although I know we're here for a rezoning, I just wanted to get the city excited about this project. So as Mandy had mentioned, it's 510 apartment homes with about 40% of them are either going to be studio or one bedroom, 60% of them being 2 bedrooms, ranging from 2 to 3 stories in height. And so the real target demographic here is going to be the future young professionals that are going to be working in the area and working at the medical campuses and the retail centers around us. And we're trying to cater towards that demographic by including in addition to it being net zero and having the electric vehicle charging stations and the solar on the rooftops and the canopies, there's going to be a great community clubhouse and fitness area. We're going to have a really unique indoor bike cafe storage area that's going to encourage people to use electric bikes and to have a spot to safely store mountain bikes if they're going out on the wash and enjoying the outdoors. There's going to be rain harvesting garden beds throughout the property, an event lawn with outdoor lawn games, shade structures and barbecues, a dog walking path along the entire perimeter of the property that connects it to Fillmore and the Tut Hill Wash. So we think that the walkability of that is going to be a great benefit to our residents. And with that, I will conclude my presentation and happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any questions from council? Councilman Eustis.
Yes, ma'am. What is going to be, or is anyone going to widen Fillmore to accommodate 510 units?
It is. That's a great question. And so we are in conversations, getting finalized very close, probably next week, as to how Fillmore is going to be fully built out. So there is additional right-of-way dedication, which is part of a plat, I think, that you just approved this evening for the parcel to our west. So the majority of Fillmore is all going to be now dedicated to the city. So we're going to be able to fully construct Fillmore to its ultimate width, with an improved center median for aesthetics and a signalized intersection at Fillmore and Verrado as well. And those improvements will be completed by our team.
Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Councilman. Any other, Councilman Yonker?
Mandy, you brought up on your presentation that there was vacant property east-west, whichever, I think it was 3 or 4 different sections. With those that are marked as vacant on that, what are they zoned? And the second layer of that is, are any of those, do we have applications for either rezone or any buildings that are going to be going on that? So that we, instead of saying it vacant, so we can compare it to what we're looking at on the whole area right there.
Yep, excellent question. Let me navigate back to the zoning map. That is probably the easiest way to answer that question. And of course, it starts me over, even though I got right to the slide. Okay, so this map hasn't been updated yet because of the PAD that was recently approved to the west of the subject parcel, which is the mix project. That PAD zoning has been already approved, so that's to the west. And there is a site plan in process for that. It's not yet approved, but it is moving forward with.
So it's vacant, but we already have, okay.
Correct. There's plans in process for it. It's
Not
just
to be particular, but when we do these presentations like this, when we have this particular situation, can we note that in there so that we can see that on there? I mean, just recall all the things that we're talking about as it moves forward. That's all I'm at. Thank you.
of course. And to the south, there is another project. I don't believe it's quite as far along. I believe it's called Greenlight Communities, Greenlight Verrado, which I believe is also an anticipated mixed-use project. It's not as far along in the processing, but that one is, I believe.
My question is geared towards, I know all those things that,
Yes, of course.
but whenever we have an open meeting like this for the general public to come in and see this for the first time so that they are aware of what that whole area will look like. That's where I'm leading that question to. Thank you.
I understand. Thank you, and I appreciate the intent behind that question.
Okay, Councilman Goodman.
Hi, Katie. Net zero, so I'm assuming, will there be battery storage on site, or are you gonna just sell that back to APS and
Yeah, exactly.
zero out that way?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm still learning a lot about what net zero means and how to create it. But so through the solar generation on the rooftops, it will either go and feed the individual panels where the tenants are residing. So theoretically, right there, electrical bill would be zero. And then any excess would be then sold back. I think they do net. We're working with APS very closely on this and their interconnections team. So there is a way at a small rate you sell it back to APS.
But they will get power from APS when it's nighttime or?
Yes. It will be
cloudy
fully
day.
equipped. Yeah. And the solar will offset it. Our goal is that we will be net zero or net positive on this. But in the event that we have a very cloudy month consistently for 30 days and there is no solar, it comes straight from the APS grid. And in that case, they would likely have a power bill that month.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions for Katie? All right, thank you, Katie.
Thank you.
All right, we need to have a public hearing on this. We'll open a public hearing. Any speaker request cards for this item?
Request.
Okay, and anybody from the public wishing to speak? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing. And item 6C, council, what's your pleasure?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve agenda item 6C as in Charles.
I'll second.
We have a motion. Will you log on your magic voting machine your motion, Vice Mayor Eustis? And a second.
Went away.
And a second by Councilman Goodman. All in favor, say aye and vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed? I think I heard, Councilman Hagestad, you voted aye, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, passes unanimous. Thank you, Mandy.
Thank you.
All right, item 7C, comments from mayor and council. Do we have any comments tonight? Yes, sir. Yeah, Vice Mayor.
I would just like to officially, for the first time, welcome our two new council members that are up here with us tonight. It's their first time sitting with us officially for a council meeting, and I'd like to welcome them and thank you very much for running for office and winning.
All right, thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilman Goodman.
Yeah, I'd just like to echo that sentiment and welcome to Councilmember Beard and Councilmember Berry. And I think today was like drinking from a fire hose for these two, so you get to see what the other side looks like. So welcome aboard. Happy to have you.
Thank you.
You're good? Yeah. Okay. All right. All right, on to agenda item number 8, City Manager's Report and Summary of Current Events.
Hey, Mayor, just one item this evening. Thank you to all that attended this year's Cotton Fest and Glow on Monroe holiday events. Cotton Fest had an estimated 2,700 attendees. Glow on Monroe had an estimated 10,000 attendees. So just want to congratulate all the staff and everyone that helped put on those events. It was great attendance. That's it. Thank you.
That's excellent. Can I ask just a quick question on that? How does that compare to last year? Is Miranda back in here? Similar. What a non-answer.
Parks and Rec math. It's like, you know.
Right.
A very thoughtful answer you had there, Miranda.
Great. It's insightful. All right. Item number 9, proposals for future agenda items. Any from Mayor or Council? Okay, seeing none. Item 10, with nothing else on the agenda, we are adjourned.